Hi there, this is still DCC 2 about annotating electric pressure on a circuit diagram, but we are showing an example of a more complicated circuit. We have a simple circuit over here, and we have some ideas about how to do this, but we want to look at an example of a more complicated circuit to see what kind of things can come up. I'm going to start with my battery, and I'm going to label my high and low pressure on the battery. But then I'm going to draw the circuit. Be very careful to draw the circuit exactly as I'm drawing it because you don't want any even tiny differences. I'm going to show this wire coming up like this, just like we had before, and then I'm going to go down, but the wire is going to split off into two parts like this, and we're going to put a bulb on each of those parts like this. Then they're going to come back together again and go through one more bulb. Now these little dots show connections. They're kind of optional. It's kind of handy to have those connections labeled, but if you leave them off, that's not the biggest deal. The most important thing is that you show two bulbs connected on two separate paths, and then you show one bulb where they kind of meet together again, where these wires meet together again. I'm going to do as much annotation as I can using these suggestions, and then I'm going to take a look at the circuit and see if that helps me finish. So again, my starting point is always to assume that electric pressure does not change across wires. So if it's high pressure here, if I follow this through, that means it's going to be high pressure here, and it's going to be high pressure all the way to these bulbs. Just because all of this is connected by wires and we are assuming that electric pressure doesn't change across wires, H's have to be all over these. The most important thing is that we realize that the high pressure is on one side of these, of both of these bulbs. I'll do the same thing to this side, and I end up seeing that there's low pressure on the side of this bulb. Notice I can't do anything on the other side of the bulbs because there's a bulb in the way. Now, my first instinct would be to put medium, 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 just like we did here. But I want to point something out. If we actually look at the circuit, and I'm going to show it to you now, we'll see that that can't be right, and I'll show you why. This is the circuit as it's built with real stuff. So we've got two wires coming off the battery, and those wires go to two bulbs, and then those two wires come back and they meet and they go through that third bulb. So this bulb is like this one, this bulb is like this one, and this super, super bright one here is like this one down here. Now it may look like these two aren't lit at all, and this one, as you can tell, is super bright. But check this out. If I turn off these lights and I cover up this, you'll see that these bulbs are actually lit a tiny, tiny bit. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can. Each of those bulbs is actually lit the tiniest little bit, but way, way, way less bright than this bulb over here. So if you think about it, the reason why this can't be medium, medium, medium is if we did that, then this would be high, medium, and this would be high, medium. This would be medium, low. We already saw in this one over here, the high, medium, and medium, low is the same pressure difference. We saw those bulbs be the same brightness. Remember down here, the larger the pressure difference, the brighter the bulb. We know that this pressure difference across this bulb has to be way bigger because the bulb is brighter. And medium to low isn't a bigger pressure difference than high to medium. So we have to figure out a way out of this. We have to show with our annotation that this is a smaller pressure difference. So I could go like this. I could say these are like really tiny brightness, just two brightness lines, and this is going to get like 8. And I can tell myself that a brighter bulb A brighter bulb means higher. I'm just going to start annotating. I'm going to start abbreviating this as PD. And actually, let's write this at the top here so that we have that to refer to. PD means pressure difference. We're going to be using that phrase so much, it'll be useful to have an abbreviation for it. So PD means pressure difference. And what we're seeing here is a brighter bulb means higher PD. I need to show that this pressure difference is smaller than this. So one way to do that could be if I call this medium high, this would be a small PD. From high to medium high is not a big difference. That would make sense because it's like not a very bright bulb. We can see it only has two little lines. And notice if these are at medium high pressure, what does this have to be? If two places are connected by a wire, the electric pressure at both places is the same. So if these two are medium high, then this has to be medium high also. Medium high to low is a huge pressure difference from medium high to low. So we can see why, and we can see the difference between these two examples. In this case, these bulbs are the same brightness because high to medium is the same difference as medium to low. In this example over here, it makes sense that these two bulbs are way less bright because high to medium high is a smaller PD, a smaller pressure difference than medium high, all the way down to low. Now, just to take this a step further, what would it look like if we connected one bulb directly to the other side of the battery? Well, we would expect this to get even brighter. So take a look at this. And I'm going to disconnect this green wire, and I'm going to connect it directly to here. It's kind of hard to see whether it got even brighter or not. Let me turn this off. That's how bright it is. And that's how bright it is. What do you think? It's kind of hard to make really accurate comparisons with just brightness. Eventually we'll get into doing things with real numbers with our circuits. But what we want to point out is just this pressure difference annotation, just these things can be enormously helpful in predicting how bright bulbs are going to be if you're careful and if you think it through.